All right, hello everyone. Well, this has been a weird afternoon of trying to get these graphic novel book talks to work. So again, uh, me and Hannah, a great librarian at Wyoming, we're attempting to do a graphic novel discussion together, and we both have a little list of graphic novels, and then we're having all sorts of sound and other technical issues, so we decided to do it separate. So now I'm live and going to do this separate. And as soon as we get some viewers, I'm going to start talking about the graphic novels. Hopefully, my sound and everything is working now, and I can go through those. So again, we had high hopes of kind of chatting back and forth, and then I started a video, and that kind of went wonky too. So just going to go ahead and try this again and go through some graphic novels. So the ones that I am talking about today, some of them are definitely ones that you can read on a tablet, that you can get through our ebook collection, but all of them for sure are in the catalog. So you can put those graphic novels on hold, and that will totally work for you, and you will be able to get the graphic novels. So this is a list that Hannah and I put these together that are adult and teen graphic novels. Mine are definitely more adult-leaning graphic novels as opposed to the teen ones. So that is where mine come in. And I do have a couple, like, I'll show you the covers of those on my iPad. So I'm going to go in reverse order for what I just did. So I'm going to talk about Saga. This is one I haven't read in quite a long time. There's a few volumes of this one out there. It's Brian K. Vaughan. And again, it's called Saga, and it is really good. So it's a sci-fi one. I have a bunch of sci-fi ones to talk about. And Brian K. Vaughan is really brilliant. One of the things he does in here, he has all these different like crazy races and peoples and everything in the sci-fi world. And two of them that are at war fall in love, have a baby, and then they are being hunted by both of their families, are hunting them down. And there's all these assassins are doing the same thing because this is not supposed to happen, and these assassins are going to wipe them out. Assassins are all very unique. The art, the drawing, and everything is really awesome. So it's a very unique one. Brian K. Vaughan is a very snarky, irreverential, for sure, like sense of humor, and that goes all throughout that book. The next one I'm going to talk about is called House of X, and this is from this is actually an X-Men comic. Jonathan Hickman did it. House of X, Powers of X. So this is the only like superhero-ish type one that I'm going to talk about today. And let me show you the cover here. So this is a reboot, and for those who like Marvel and DC and that type of thing, a lot of reboots are okay. A lot of them don't turn out that great. This one is one of the exceptions. This is very, very good. In a way, if you've ever read X-Men comics before, you know that they have tried to create their own societies in order that mutants can live the way that they want to live. Often the human race is not a big fan of them, and the X-Men comics since they began. And this is a really awesome, weird spin on it where there is basically a mutant that is its own island. And the mutants are able to go there and be safe, but others are not. And so they decided to start their own realm with their own rules, totally their whole thing, and it completely changes the dynamics of the Marvel universe as far as superheroes go. It's really great. It has some weird storytelling twist where it's not just taking you through the present time, it's taking you through what they know is going to happen in 100 years in the future, 1,000 years in the future. So it's quite the twist. I haven't been as impressed with the follow-up ones to this, but boy, it's really, really good. If you also are someone who loves kind of the different formats, it's not just you watching the characters. There's also like letters and reports and different things to read about what is actually happening. All right, next one I'm going to talk about is called Descender. Here is the copy of the cover of Descender. Descender is a Jeff Lemire graphic novel. He's also quite brilliant. Descender is very, very good. This is another sci-fi one. So this is in the distant future, and before this one, before you start this one, kind of the backstory is that a lot of robots went on this killing spree, and they are now outlawed. So there are robots who pop back up and has a secret in it. It's a child robot kind of a thing, or like kind of an innocent robot, and that robot is now being chased down for what secrets that it has. So this is one of those I can't tell too much or I'll kind of spoil it. But Descender is very good, and then he followed it up with something called Ascender, which is also pretty great. Next graphic novel I'm going to do, if I can find the cover here for you. This is definitely a different one. So this is Ed Brubaker. This is called Pulp. And it is, as you can tell, a Western. So there's a very classic Western caricature on that. The art is really neat. It's very vintagey, very neat looking. And the thing about Pulp is that it takes place again. This is kind of another one in a cool format in that it's different times. So on one hand, the main character here is writing pulp novels, hence the name Pulp, and these Westerns, these very like shootout things, which is actually about um, his time being younger. But the current time in the graphic novel is 1939, so leading up to World War II. And one part of history that often gets forgotten is that there were Nazi sympathizers in the United States, and there was a bit of a movement for that. And the main character is kind of a down on his luck writer, barely getting any money for the Westerns that he's writing, and he ends up going back to a life of crime. And so you see these two pieces of him. One is kind of almost the Robin Hood type cowboy gunfighter type versus him living in the modern era and try to figuring out his place there and trying to leave something for his family, even though he ends up doing it in not a way that you would think somebody should, which is, knocking over banks and stuff. So anyway, it's a very, very good. That is called Pulp, and it's Ed Brubaker. And next one here is called Asola. Asola is from Brandon Fletcher. This is another that is definitely like a sci-fi one. So in Asola, you see this young woman, and she has a very cool tiger with her. And you don't really know. This is one I won't tell you a lot about because I will spoil it very quickly. But you know that a spell was cast upon this realm, and it's now fallen apart in basically like this very dystopian fantasy world. And the art is awesome. It's very it's muted and bright at the same time. A lot of wintry, dark purple, blue colors, but then just very vivid pieces. It's really great. I think Carl Kerschel is the artist on this one, and it's really good. So anyway, she is traveling through this land, protecting this tiger, and trying to figure out basically what she can do, how she can reverse the spell. And there's a lot of people who mean her great harm. So that is kind of how this graphic novel goes. It's a very, very good, and the art is good enough, just like on its own, just to revel in the art. It's really well done. I have two more to go. This one is called Kill Lock. This is another science fiction one. I told you I had a lot of science fiction ones. So this is by Levi Ramadelli, and this is about, again, it's a future thing here with a lot of robots. But in this one, so kind of like the Center, but in this one, when robots do something they are not supposed to do, they are put into this sort of contract called the kill lock. And in the kill lock, you basically, if any of those robots die, they all die. And they would put four of them together. So there's four robots in this kill lock, and they're trying to figure out a way to reverse what they're stuck in. And ever weird is that usually the robots are all guilty, but one of the four is not. So it's a very kind of innocent robot called the Kid, and the robot has done nothing wrong. Also, can't quite understand what the kill lock is or why he is stuck in this whole thing. So it's really pretty interesting and weird. They have like it's almost a Scarlet Letter situation where they have a mark on their chest, and so other robots and other beings will react really weird about them or sometimes support them. It just totally depends, but usually it's not a good thing to be known as a robot in the kill lock, because that means you've done at least something, wrong or evil, and that's the reason you have in that. And it's odd that the one robot didn't actually do anything wrong. So that's kind of what those robots work through. It's another neat the art's pretty neat on that one too. All right, the most adult one that I will cover is called Die, Die, Die by Robert Kirkman. Robert Kirkman wrote the Walking Dead series, which is a really amazing. I never even watched the TV show, to be honest, but the graphic novels are very, very good. Cool black and white art. This is very bright, vivid art. He works with some different artists on this one. If you like the XMen, it's a lot like that. And it's, again, very violent, very adult. But basically, if you like conspiracy theories, and if you like Walking Dead, and if you like some of the kind of violent stuff, you will totally love it. It's really very good. It taps into kind of the government conspiracy, secret cabal, assassins, working kind of in the shadows to get different things done. So there's some twins who are these like amazing assassins, and some government leaders like pulling all of these strings. So if you kind of like that kind of intrigue, it's like light on the political intrigue, but it is there enough to make it kind of interesting and kind of exciting, and then just crazy fighting and violence. But it's really good. This is actually one of my favorites for definitely the last few years. This one and Saga, the one I talked about first, are a couple of my favorites of the past 3 or 4 years. So there we go. Sorry we couldn't quite get everything together tech-wise for me and Hannah. We'll have to do another one sometime. We both like graphic novels so much. We'll be happy to yammer about graphic novels in the future. We do have a book list up on our website, so you can see the ones that we talked about. And it was fun talking about graphic novels. Thank you very much. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.